Guys, welcome to the Physique Factory podcast with me and Conor Morant. Today, we've got a guest, unfortunately, Nick Broomhead.
Good morning.
So, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I have been a one-to-one PT for 5.5 years. I've been a competitive bodybuilder for, what is it now? 6. Yeah, 6. And online coaching, I do bits. It's not really kind of, it's okay, but I prefer one-to-one. But obviously I've got experience with online coaching. I also work with a few influencers and help them with some of their coaching. But yeah, prep myself with bodybuilding. I haven't had a coach since 2017, which was Jordan Peters, which is kind of like, it was a learning experience. He wasn't the best coach, but I learned a lot from it because I learned what was worth doing and what wasn't worth doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What are your kind of stage credentials? Because James was actually talking you up yesterday. He actually said something very nice. He said you're like one of the most peeled bodybuilders he's seen.
That's kind of like, that's my strength. I'm not the biggest guy. I never will be. So I've just got to get the most shredded. Yeah. I think I've done probably, I do 4 last year, 5 the year before. And then another 1, 2, 3 shows. I've probably done about 13, 14 shows. But like within those shows, some of them I've done like 2 classes. So I've probably been on stage like 15 times in 15 different classes, etc.
It's a show all the time. It's hard to like peak yourself for like if you're doing like 5 shows in a year. How do you manage that?
So in 2016, I did 2 shows and prepped myself. 2017, I did 2 shows with Jordan Peters. I kind of like learned a little bit about the peaking from him, and then also about kind of like I was going in there after my experience in 2016, and I was trying to prep myself again, consuming like, starting the prep at like 2,500 calories or something like that. But at that point, I'd moved into in-person coaching. So my steps were really high. My output was high. And I'm like, shit, I'm not losing any weight yet. I'm eating the same calories as I did last time. Nothing's happening. So I went to Jordan. He increased my calories by 1,000. And then I started losing weight. And then I got into the most peeled I'd ever been. And again, when I stepped on stage, I did men's physique at that point. And I was like I was the leanest, but I wasn't the biggest.
2017?
Yeah. So I didn't place, because, men's physique is all about delts and arms, and mine are small. So I didn't place, but I was the most shredded. I've
never really done any men's physique or anything like that, but like they're not looking for totally shredded, are they? I mean, they're looking for lean, but are they looking for like
I think over the past few years, it's changed. It's kind of like the goalposts have changed. So they are now looking for leaner and leaner and bigger and bigger. Like you see some of the men's physique guys now, and they make bodybuilders look tiny and fat.
But yeah, I mean, bodybuilders.
Yeah, I mean, after that. So when you go back to the original question about the multiple shows, so obviously I learned a little bit from Jordan when we did 2 shows. So I had all the information from that. What we did, I think it was maybe like 2 or 3 weeks difference between those shows. So I was like, right, okay, I did that for that show, did a slightly different peak for the other show. Then I read a lot of Dr. Scott Stevenson's book, How to Be Your Own Bodybuilding Coach. And then I kind of like took bits from that. And then in 2019, I just did my whole prep by myself, and then peaked myself for the first show, which was PCA Manchester. And then I thought, right, okay, there was like 6 weeks before that qualifier and the British. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to be able to stay in this condition and keep my head on with 6-week time between the shows.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking this year myself. I've got a show at end of August, and then obviously finals in October. So I was going to ask you, how was that? Like the time?
Mate, you've got to have shows in between to keep, because then it's like anything, It's like in coaching. If a client comes to you and says, right, I want to lose 6 stone, it's a massive like goal. But if you say, right, I want to lose a stone and then another stone, and it's like that.
A bit, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's so hard. It like to get to that first show is easy every time. It's not really hard, in both 2019 and last year, I did like cardio for maybe like 5 weeks. I did, 3 or 4 sessions a week of Stairmaster for 30 minutes. That's the only cardio I did because I just kind of like took my time and I just was quite chilled about it. I don't make rash decisions with it. I'll just be like, the weight's not going down, but, I'll look a little bit leaner. But let's see what happens in a few days. And then if nothing changes, then we make a change. If it changes, it's fine. So it's kind of like just taking it nice and steady. When you get to that first show, it's simple. I don't have any cheat meals or any of that kind of stuff. I might have had refeeds where I'm just eating more of the same foods. After that first show, you might have some off-plan meals, off-plan foods. I never go out. I never go out for to a restaurant because it's just like I'm not in full control. So I always just get food in, but then it's still you get a taste of stuff. And then it's like even when you try not to, like I remember in 2019, I think I just went to Tesco, got some bits, and then I stayed at my girlfriend's at the time. And so I couldn't be at home where the cupboards were. It's like I'm not in control. But then, the next day went and trained and then got home and just binged because I'd had that little bit of a taste. And you got to have, it's like a mental reset. You feel like you've got to do it. And then you've just got to make sure that you get back on it a day or so later. And
what's the most amount of food you've ever done after a show for both of you?
Not very much. No?
Not even your first one, no?
I did a lot.
No, it's like I can't. The first show, I can't really remember. I think after the very, very first show, I just went to Nando's, and then I was really pissed off because I'd done shit, looked shit, and then I can't remember what else I had. But I've never really gone crazy. Like my brother when he did his first show, I think he put on like 3 stone in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I was gonna say that rebound after that your last show, that's never been like dramatically bad or.
No. I always think it's like even when I finish, when I've done the British and I finish it, even then, like last year, I was literally eating chocolate every day. I had chocolate in a glove box. I've never stuck to my diet 100% since my show.
Yeah.
In October, I've always had something over or something under, or it's never been 100%. Just because that strong Y's gone.
Yeah.
But even between the shows, like I'd do the show. I think even like last year, I had maybe like cookie deals or something like that after the show, and then I try and get back on it the day after or the day after that. If it was kind of like I think I did a Sunday show, I might have had Monday off the diet, and then Tuesday I was back on it, and then maybe like I remember there was one show, the FitX qualifier was in Kent, and that was on a Sunday night, and the FitX British was the following Saturday. So that was like I had to drive back from Kent, which was like 5.5 hours on a Sunday night. I think I had the Monday off work. I might have had some food on the Monday morning or something like that on Monday, and Tuesday it was like pretty much no carbs. Wednesday was like low carbs. And then Wednesday was load, Thursday, load, Friday, see what happens, and then Saturday show. And I
had fucking stomach cramps the first night. Like after my first show, that night I was lying on the fucking couch. I'd ate so much food and I couldn't fucking move. That's how extreme my kid is.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I've been like that before, like where I couldn't go to bed. I couldn't lie down because it was like too bad. But
I think you learn though, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
And the first show that I did back in like 2017, I ate that much. I think it was like a week after the show. I couldn't bend my knee because of the amount of water in my quads.
Oh, I've had that before. I've had that before when I dieted in 2019 when I did that prep. It started off as a holiday prep. So I did 8 weeks, went to Ibiza for 4 days. And then I thought, right, I went and I was in pretty good shape after 8 weeks dieting. And then by the end of the holiday, it was getting a bit watery. In the airport, I was literally eating everything I could because I thought, right, tomorrow I'm going to be back on the diet. So I got on the plane. When I got to Manchester, I stood up on the plane and all my ankles and knees were swollen. Oh. And like, when you just can't bend them like that and just kill him. Yeah, I've had that.
That's going to be fine as well. That's going to make it worse, isn't it?
Yeah.
No.
That all or nothing approach, though, isn't it? It's like, right, I'll eat everything I can today because I'm back on the diet tomorrow, back on track.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nick, what was the time? What was the time between when you got back off holiday to that show?
It was 8 weeks, 4 days in Ibiza. Came home on a Tuesday. I think Wednesday or the Thursday, I went away for a night. I literally had a full week off the diet because it was supposed to be right as soon as I get back from Ibiza, the morning after I get back on, and I thought, fuck it, I'll just wait till the end of the week. At which point, I think I'd gained like 6 kilos, 7 kilos, and then from once that week was done, it was another 8 weeks until PCA Manchester.
You dropped it off and got lean and shredded?
Yeah. I think it took me about 10 days to get back to where I was pre-holiday. But it was almost like, it was like putting a diet break in between.
Yeah.
I mean, 2021, I did notice that I wasn't getting as lean as quick. And I don't think I was as lean in 2021 as I was 2019. Like the lower back was still a little bit more fat on it in comparison to 2019. But obviously 2019, I was 6 kilos, 7 kilos lighter. So I think that made a difference.
I'm just looking at some of your pictures now, Nick. I just followed you on Instagram here, just looking at some of your pictures, but you look pretty damn peeled in some of these, like.
Yeah. I mean, I was still shredded in 2021, but I think I was more shredded in 2019. But I was a lot smaller. There's one like at the PCA British on my posts where like I must have been stood almost in exactly the same spot on the stage. So the camera angle is pretty much the same spot. So you can see 2019, 2021, all the shots the same. And you can see how like much bigger I am.
How long ago was that? I'm just looking down it now. Oh yeah, I see it. I think I see it. No, I'm looking at the wrong thing. That's like your before and afters I'm looking at. Is this 2021? Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have a quick look. Hang on one second.
I tried this before on Zoom and it doesn't come up in the video. So like we were talking about some shit that people couldn't even see anyway.
Oh, can you do the screen share?
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, depending. I'll try it on mine because I'm actually doing the one like.
Yeah, you try it.
Let's have a look. Log into my Instagram.
I've just sent it to you both now, so you can see the comparison one. It's very similar lighting. The only thing was like in 2021 in the British, I thought I had enough base coat for the tan, but I actually had about 4 bottles of the top coat. So like putting the tan on the night before, and I ran out of tan. So my tan was a bit shit.
See, your back looks thicker in the more recent ones, though, for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
Let's see if this works.
That's some good conditioner, man.
Oh, there you go. It's working, mate.
You got it.
We're on.
Wicked. Always start sweating when I'm sharing my screen.
We won't judge. Don't worry.
Cool. So first one. When's this?
That was probably that. You know that was. I think I'd done PCA Manchester on the Saturday, and that was maybe the Tuesday after. So you can see like. I'd had food, I'd gained a few kilos, and and this was a couple of days. It's all dropped off. I think I might have gone into that session, and drop the carbs a little bit because I was still trying to like get rid of that water that I gained post show, and I was just absolutely shredded there. And that video was a little bit blurry compared to how it was on like my phone.
That's the best spot in flexing zone.
That is the spot. That is the spot. I found that spot in 2019. And obviously they've knocked walls down and stuff since. So I had to try and find the spot again. And that's the spot.
You just need to like get a Sharpie and write on the floor.
You don't find that kind of post-show period though. You do get like this nice crisp condition after it as well. After some of that junk food goes in.
Yeah, you see, so what I did for the for PCA Manchester, I tried going like completely cutting water. I listened to some of what Joe Jeffrey did, and I thought, right, okay, I'll try a new approach. I'll just cut water completely out. I like kind of loaded water, cut it out, and I felt like utter shit. It was like I was ready for passing out. So I thought, right, I'm not going to do that again. And then the next show was the FitX qualifier in Kent, And I just went into it and I thought, you know what? After seeing that video, it was actually that video. I thought, I've come into this and I've come into this session today and I've literally just had, I think I must have had my normal training day food. You know, I don't think I changed anything. I thought, I look absolutely minty here. It's like midday and I look my best. So all I've done to this point is just eat my normal training day food, normal water, everything. So I'm just going to do that. So I went to Kent and I just did exactly as I would normally do on a training day. Same steps, got up in the morning, did that, had water, everything. And then the Kent is that out of these pictures here, it's the top right. That's taken on a phone though, so you can't really tell. But that I was like, right, okay, I look sick here. You know, I'm fuller. I think I was about the same weight, but I dropped a little bit of more body fat. I'd got leaner, but then got a bit more weight from the fullness. So I was around 80 kilos for both of the first two shows. And then the week after that, like I said, it was kind of like Sunday, and then the following Saturday was the FitX British, which was the middle one at the top row. And that one I was even bigger and leaner. I'd forgot actually that at FitX they have a weight cut, so you have to be a certain weight for your height. So I'd gone in there fully clothed. I've been drinking water just as normal. So obviously I was heavier. Because I'd gone even more like a proper training day for this one, because I thought, it's quite a safe approach. So I stood on the scale in the foyer for like the FitX British, and then it was Lisa Gelsey was doing the weigh-ins, and she looked at me. She looked at the scale, and she just done my height, and I looked at her and I was like, "Do I need to strip off?" And she went, "I would, love, yeah, I would." so I just stripped down to my trunks in the foyer in Liverpool, and then jumped back on the scales, and I was like just on 82 kilo. Yeah. So I was like that week from the Kent show to the FitX British, I'd put on 2 kilos just like fullness. So suddenly I was bang on the weight limit, and then obviously I competed. I didn't place at that show. At the FitX Kent, I got 4th, but the lineup there was it was mental. It was way better than the British PCA in 2019. And the guys were huge. The guy that I went on to then coach for a little bit, Sam Astle, you know, you look at his physique and he's like a pro in the making. His physique is phenomenal.
What is the weight thing with it?
I can't remember what it is. I think it's your weight, like your height minus 100, plus like 8 or something like that. It is, I think.
Cool. That's a strange way of doing it, eh?
That's what a lot of them do. That's what I think. NABA is like the same. It's like your height in centimeters minus 100 plus. I think NABA's is 6, so I'd have to be like. I think for NABA, I have to be like 78 kilos, so I can't even do NABA. Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to. I wouldn't be able to do FitX Classic again. I don't think.
That's a nice thing. I compete with the BNBF, and the nice thing about them is like the weight is cut on the weight categories are cut on the day. So you just rock up being whatever you are. They take the weights of all them like men bodybuilding competitors, and then they split it based on what kind of natural.
Yeah, he's turned up. Yeah,
you're not doing anything stupid to try and cut water or things like that, or trying to make certain kind of body weight. So I think that works pretty damn well actually, and it takes that stress off as well.
Yeah. What was PCA? Because there was moving people between classes, weren't there? Like your brother showed up. Didn't he?
So PCA is just height. There is no weight cut off. So at Manchester, so many guys came to do it that they were only going to, like when I did Manchester in 2019, they had one class. But obviously 2021, so many people turned up that it would just be too many people for the stage. So they were originally going to have a short and a tall. And then they thought, oh shit, there's loads of people. So they had short, medium and tall. So I was in the short class. I think there was maybe 13, 14 in that, maybe like 8 or 9 in the medium, and then probably like 7 or 8 in the tall. But I got 3rd there after placing in 2019. I got 5th. But again, the lineup there at Manchester was as good as the British in 2019. Like the standard last year was just really good. The FitX finals, I didn't place because there was only one class of classic. So, I was against guys like Sean Barber and Will Dyson.
I'm not sure, no.
I think he's called Anabolic Scientist on Instagram. But these guys, there was also the guy that won the Kent show and the guy that came third at the Kent show. Sean Barber went on to win PCA, and he's a PCA pro. So he actually placed fourth at Fitex British, and he's awesome. Fitex for the classic, they were a bit unsure. It's like the judging was a bit off. They were a bit unsure of what they were looking for, I think. So Sean was really pissed off with that because he was bigger, he was leaner than the other guys. The guy that came third at the qualifier actually jumped 2 places and won the British. But then the guy that won the qualifier against him placed second. And it's in a week's time, neither of them have changed the physique. They're exactly the same physique. It's just that the judging panel's changed. So how can the judges move a guy from third to first and move the guys in first last week to second? It just didn't make any sense. So
subjective, isn't it? Everyone's got their own.
Yeah, but it's it's a new federation. I think they're still trying to find the feet with it, and there was a bit of discrepancy because some of the judges were saying, no, we're looking for the classic look, the classic physique, whereas other judges and the organisers were saying, no, it's height by weight. And I showed my video to Dave Crossland. It was that video that you just started up on there.
Oh, yeah.
Showed that to Dave Crossland when I went getting bloods done a week or so before the qualifier. And Dave was like, "You're not classic. You're too lean. You're too shredded." But look at the pros. The pros are shredded and lean. It's so there needs to be some more clarity, I think, with the judging in that federation. PCA's always been really good, but I think last year at the British, it was a little bit rushed because normally they'd spread it over 2 days and they had it over 1 day. And there were so many people in the lineup. So I was, again, in classic, they had short, medium, tall. In my class, I think there was 16, 17, maybe even more. And they brought us all out in groups of 5 or 6, did our quarter turns, moved us to the back. Then they just did the top 6 call out, moved them to the back. In 2019, I'd finished 6th at the British. I didn't even get the first call out. So I was pissed off. And they didn't do a second call out. There was 6 guys, top 6. They moved them to the side. And then it's right, everyone else. It's where's the second call out? Where's the third call out? They just brought everyone out.
How can you judge it that quickly as well?
Well, they didn't. They didn't give a shit about everyone that was below 6th. They just spun them all around and then chucked us all off. Then we came in and did our routines and then went off. And I'm like, wow, that was a bit of a waste of time. But I wasn't happy with at first, I wasn't happy on the day with the way I looked. That's one where I had the purple trunks on before, because my tan was shit. I felt like I wasn't as lean. I was actually I was my heaviest there. I was 82.4. So at PC in Manchester, I was 80. And then the British, 6 weeks later, I was 82.4. So I was a lot bigger. It was the biggest look I'd had, but I wasn't as lean. But
There's
then
so much to think about in bodybuilding, though, isn't there? It's not just getting lean, getting in shape. It's
the variables.
It's posing. It's peaking.
But I think in classic, the few people said to me that were there, they were seeing you on stage, the guys that were in the top 6, other than there was one guy who was a white guy and he was really shredded. It's the only guy I've ever been against that's leaner than me. But I think that's kind of because my condition had faded over the weeks. Because I wasn't sticking to the diet 100% either. My head was just going with it, and I was just kind of having little bits of overeating here and there. But this guy was just shredded, and he got second. But then everyone else was just black guys or mixed race guys, and they were just round and bubbly. And it's okay, so that's the look they're going for. And I wasn't like that, but my condition isn't getting rewarded in classic. But in bodybuilding, it is. It would have done. But I'm just too small. So my goal now is to move up to bodybuilding in medium height class, because I know my condition will get rewarded, but I just needed to be bigger. If I can come in at mid to high 80 kilos, then I'd be competitive there, I think.
So what's the plan for when you're next competing?
What I was thinking is maybe have this year off and then start dieting end of the year for probably shows around this kind of time next year. I'll have a go at the bodybuilding classes and see how I fare. Try a few different federations, and see how I get on. See which federation I kind of likes the look, and then go from this kind of what it'll probably be May time 2023 until May 2025. That's 2 years worth of growing. And then May 2025, start prep for September, October 2025. And see how it go. And then I don't know what to do. I see how I go then. And then it could even be my last season because I'll be 39. And I don't know. I don't know if I want to still be doing it at 40.
Yeah, I think like health wise.
Yeah, it's like health wise. You know, my body's already pretty beaten up, and it's like, you know, is it worth to keep going?
Just when you get 39, Nick.
Well, yeah, I know. I look younger than Jimmy, don't I?
Well, that's
hard. I hope 3 years each prep.
So that's kind of like the goal. And then see what happens in 2025, and then I don't know what to do after that. It's like, you know, I could keep if I'd won the British last year, I probably would have retired from competing. Because where else do you go from there? You know, someone like me, I'm not going to be a pro. I'm not going to get a pro card. I don't particularly want to get a pro card because too many people just want to focus on this pro card, and they go from being some of them are just okay amateurs. You know, when they go pro card chasing and all this kind of bullshit. If you're a pro, you walk into a show, you win it. You don't need to go from country to country to country and do 20 shows in a year trying to get a pro card. You're not a pro, you're not pro standard. Otherwise, you would have won it straight away.
What are they like at handing out pro cards and like to the PCA and things like that?
Yeah, but it's like you know, it's a lot easier to get a pro card now than it used to be.
Yeah,
as like in like an IFBB pro card. But if you can't get one of those, then there's no point in keep trying to try multiple times a year or over 2 years, because you know, going all over to these far-flung places like to win pro card. Because all it's going to happen is you're going to turn up on a pro stage and you're going to get your ass handed to you. So you're going to be both.
It's like 2 or 3 shows now where you can win your pro card.
In the UK?
Yeah, there's the Arnolds, isn't there?
There's the Arnolds, Ben Weider, 2 Bros British Finals, and Amateur Olympia.
Oh, cool. So there's like 4 of them, right? Yeah, so there's a lot of chances, isn't there? Winning it. Unless
they've changed. Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not a fan of 2 Bros, so I don't really.
You've not been chasing it enough to find out, Nick.
Yeah. I can't afford the entry fees, Robin bastard.
160 quid a class.
Yeah, but that's only a regional. That's not you go to a pro qualifier, it's like 260.
Do you want to know what the BNBF is? The BNBF is like 35 or 45 quid for a
well, that's what PCA is. That's what PCA is. You know, like Fitex qualifier, I turned up there and I said to him, like, oh, well, I've come to do classic. And I said, but a few other people saying they're doing another class. I said, how much is it to do the bodybuilding class? He went, oh, it's 20 quid.
That's not bad.
Just give him 20 quid. And I did 2 classes. And that Fitex qualifier, the classic, I was on for 40 minutes on stage. That's how much they were comparing and judging. It was just like I was absolutely battered. Came off, had a bit of cream of rice, and then went back on for the bodybuilding, which I think classic had 16 guys and bodybuilding had about 19 or 20. And then again, I was just stood there for another 40 minutes. I was absolutely fucked, going hypo by the end. But like the Fitex is a federation. It's new, so they're still trying to find the feet. But in terms of like the way they look after the athletes, I don't think there's a better federation in the UK. I don't know what the natural federation is like because I've obviously never competed there.
Yeah.
I've heard good things about, you know, UK DFBA or whatever it's called. Is it still called that?
Yeah, they're called something like that. I've never really had anything to do with them.
Yeah.
It's just
guys, just a quick one. My Zoom's not actually logged into my actual Zoom, and it's saying we've got 9 minutes left. I've logged into my actual account, and I have no idea why it's giving me that.
We'll just wrap this one up. We'll wrap this one up a wee bit quicker. What I wanted to ask you, Nick, as well, and for some of the listeners, like I know they'll be interested in, what is your kind of nutritional approach, like in terms of dieting, for instance? I think it'll be good for a lot of the listeners, like, even though a lot of them might not be competitors, you know, if you're trying to like improve your body composition, well, that's exactly what bodybuilders are trying to do. So take advice from these guys that are really pushing it to the limits. But yeah, what's your kind of approach, Nick? Are you kind of high carb kind of guy? Are you kind of, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's high carbs. So say like off season might get 800-900 grams of carbs.
Yeah.
And then in prep, you know, I normally have a rest day diet and training day diet. So training day diet might get as low as maybe like 250 carb, and then rest day might get down to like 70 grams of carbs. So, you know, like rest days, I'd normally, you know, like deep in the in like the depths of prep, when it's on like 17, 1800 calories. Training days might be on like 222. And then, you know, it's kind of like protein never changes. Fats will come pretty much non-existent. Yeah. They might get down to like 30 grams or something like that. And then the rest days can just be a real bastard. But I've always found if I go, you know, end up super low on rest days, that's what when I really start getting in that sick condition.
I've never in my life done 70 grams of carbs in one day. You know that, like, it's always been well more than that. But yeah, I've never pushed it down as low as that. But I mean, how long would you usually give for a prep?
I think last year was around 19 weeks.
Yeah, so that's a decent amount of time as well.
Yeah. So I normally take it quite slow. It's 90. Well, it's like 18, 19 weeks until the first show, and then obviously like another 6 weeks on top of that. And that's where you really start getting that diet fatigue, and it's like, I don't want to do this anymore.
I remember the last time I dieted down. I dieted down in 2020, like, you know, to kind of show condition, and then the show kept getting put back, and I thought, oh, fuck it, I'm not doing this. But the kind of the point that put me off was walking up the stairs, and my calves were pumping up, and it was just a fucking effort to walk up the stairs, and it's just like, fuck it.
Yeah, that's it. Like, you know, the Stairmaster, it was like the hamstrings and felt so heavy.
My calves. I've never once done like cardio on a prep, apart from like walking. I've never done any sort of.
Yeah, I mean, cardio. Well, what I tend to do is I'll do like a little 4, 5, 6 week blast from maybe like 9 weeks out. And then at that point, I'm pretty lean. So I'll just switch to steps just to keep that fatigue down as well. So at this time, I tried using a weighted vest as well. I ended up going out for a morning walk for about 3,500 steps. And I put a weighted vest on for that. And then it was just kind of like
weights on as well.
No, I don't do that. So honestly, it kills you, that weighted vest. It makes a massive difference. But I'm full of shoulder injuries, so all it was doing, it was like my shoulder was killing all the way around and stuff like that. So you're having to like prop your arms up while you're walking like this and like hold the thing up. So yeah, I mean, that made a big difference, you know.
Yeah,
it was definitely, and I definitely prefer going out for a walk in the morning than getting on that bastard Stairmaster. I hate it, absolutely hate it.
So in terms of like your fat loss, going back to, like you said, you took 19 weeks. So we're just talking this kind of gradual reduction in calories as and when needed, sort of.
Yeah.
And
just chipping away.
That's the thing. I think people need to realize, if you want to get in really good condition as well, it's going to take some time, and there's no sense in trying to rush it, especially for bodybuilding purposes.
Yeah, I mean,
hold on as much muscle as possible.
If you do rush it, it's just, you're going to lose a shitload of muscle mass, aren't you?
Yeah. What I tend to do is kind of like, you know, like I'll get up to Manchester. I wasn't completely lean there. I was pretty lean. There was still a bit to come off. And then like over the next 2 weeks, I think until the next show, that's when it really dropped. So I kind of like, my lowest weight on prep was like maybe like 78.5 kilos. And then obviously I competed at 80 or 82. So that's kind of like how flat I got, how depleted I was, and then filled back up. So yeah, I mean, you've got to really, really dig. And then once you get to that point, then you're there, and then it's like, right, okay, it's time to hold.
What kind of food sources do you use then, Nick? Are you like a kind of clean eating guy, or a kind of tracking macros sort of guy?
So I would just be using things like towards the end of prep, you know, like carbs might come out of the first meal or two, and then, or it might be meal one would just be like steak or something. Meal two maybe like chicken and then some oats.
Steak for breakfast.
Yeah. Pre-workout was always like cream of rice, a bit of fruit, some whey. Post-workout it ended up being cream of rice as well, basically just the same as a pre. And then the meal after that was like chicken and rice, and then the last meal was like turkey bacon and bagels or something like that. I'll always keep bits in like that, like bagels and cream of rice, cereals, things like that. You don't have to be, sorry?
Foods that you enjoy.
Yeah, exactly. I would never eat, I don't want to eat white fish and bullshit like that, because it just tastes shit. So it's like,
I've never done that either.
Yeah, it's like, for me, I take a very relaxed approach. It's like, I'll always say to clients when I set up a diet, if you don't like it, just tell me. Because if you don't like it, you're not going to want to eat it. And if you don't want to eat it, you're not going to eat it, or you're going to eat something else, or you're going to fall off the wagon or whatever it is. So you need to tell me so we can just change it. There's always other options.
Oh, especially for clients, definitely. Like, it's different if you are like, if you're competing in bodybuilding or something like that, you're doing a sport and you're like, right, if this is going to get me that extra 1%, then I'll eat like this. But yeah, for like general clients, yeah, we're not having them like, yeah, what is it, a fish and a rice cake?
White fish, white fish.
fish and a rice cake.
It thins the skin. All this bullshit, all these guys say it thins the skin, blah 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 blah. All I do is I'll say, right, it's just like, let's see how lean you are on stage and see how lean I am on stage. And there's not really anyone, I don't think anyone would really be leaner. There's not many people I've ever seen that are like get as lean as me. And it's like, I do all these things. So I know that all that is just bullshit and you don't need to do it. Because I think it just leads to so much stress because they don't enjoy what they're doing. And it's even like kind of this grind and suffering.
Yeah, similarly, your digestion as well will improve if you're eating foods that you enjoy. You'll actually digest them better than something you're obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
So all that kind of stress as well. That's obviously going to help out with the whole kind of look. I think
it's got 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Well. We'll do a part 2 to this anyway.
Do a part 2 another time and talk more about coaching or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the Nick Broom. Is it Nick Broomhead? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Nick Broomhead show. This one.
That's what we can call
it. Well, I suppose we better wrap it up at that before our time limit runs out. Since James forgot to log in, we're not cheapskates that don't have the proper Zoom. Like James just forgot to log in.
I don't know what I did. I am logged into something, but obviously it's not the one that I paid for.
Obviously not the right one. Paid that £100 for nothing now, James.
I know.
Well, we'll wrap it up at that. Thanks again, guys, for listening. That last episode was actually our most listened to yet. So hopefully next can top that one.
Wicked. Cheers, guys.
All right. See you again.